got some sad breaking news on a Friday afternoon. Telltale Games has laid off a majority of its employees.
Stockholm offices of the Swedish publisher were raided by police due to suspicion of insider trading. At least one person was arrested.
The item in question is a duffel bag that's included alongside the life-size helmet and other merchandise. But what was actually included in the final package is a far shabbier and far cheaper bag made out of thin nylon rather than the advertised canvas one.
What do you get when a company double downs on progressive agendas in video games? You get yourself Battlefield 5's botched launch, terrible pre-order sales, and terrible overall sales in comparison to their previous entries.
Be getting worse these days. But as if Street Fighter V didn't have enough of a shady history, Capcom goes ahead and shoves ads into the game in a way that disrupts the game's artistic merits.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
No.
2018 was pretty underwhelming, guys. We had some good games this year, but the amount of garbage that filled my screen this year was just way too much. But hey, 'tis the season, so here are my top games of 2018. Bonus points for games that actually came out this year, and games I can actually afford. Mirror's Edge was a great game when it came out all those years ago, and its sequel, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, was one of my most anticipated games, although it was actually a prequel that retconned the first game, and I never actually bought it. But this year I picked it up when it was on sale, and I actually found myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. The world doesn't look as crisp as the old one, and the combat is still a little iffy, but the free running is still excellent. Yeah, the story is a little bit predictable, but the ability to explore the city combined with new challenges and hidden items more than makes up for that. Honestly, the city is still breathtaking. With the lukewarm reception to the newest Civ 6 expansion and another one on the horizon, I found myself traveling back in time to 2005 to play some Civilization 4. Civilization 4 Beyond the Sword, to be accurate. Civ 4, in my opinion, was the last great Civ game, with Civ 5 and 6 never really living up to it. Although coming out well over a decade ago, the game's cartoony art style doesn't make it look too out of date, and has the added plus of not killing your CPU. The biggest problem with Civ 4 is the blobs of death, where you or your AI stack hundreds of troops together to attack at once. But that's just a small price to pay for such a great game. And let us not forget that opening song. Perfect. Fallout 76 was such a shit show, it was actually entertaining to watch, and because of that, I found myself playing Fallout 4 a lot this year. Great gunplay, but it completely fails at being an RPG. So instead of Fallout 4, I'm talking about Fallout New Vegas, baby! The music, the story, the characters, Fallout New Vegas is the best Fallout game, and is a strong contender for being one of the best RPGs of all time. Yeah, the graphics are a little dated, but throw some E&Bs and texture mods on there if that really bothers you. And while you're at it, don't forget to download some mods that make this great game even better. I sincerely hope Fallout 4 New Vegas gets released, and I cannot wait for Obsidian's new game in the Outer Worlds next year. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, I never really cared for the Smash Brothers games, but man, this game, let me tell you, this game is really good. And this game is so good, I think, that it can finally unify the Melee guys and the new Smash guys into one single game. That's how good this is. You know, the graphics, the music, the gameplay. I used to be rocking Little Mac, but you know, I'm looking at Bowser now, and now Bowser, he's looking like my new main. everybody's in there. You got Sonic, you got Pac-Man, you got Joker from Persona 5 coming in there. It's ridiculous. This is arguably the best Smash Brothers that Nintendo ever released. You may remember that back in 2014, Insurgency was my number 2. Well, now 4 years later, here comes its long-awaited sequel. Moving from the Source engine to the Unreal Engine, the game is now crisp and appealing to look at. The classic hardcore Insurgency gameplay that we've all come to know and love is still there, now with vehicles and commander support brought over from Day of Infamy. With a rocky launch and one delay, Sandstorm is definitely a worthy sequel to a much beloved classic. Can't escape from Crossing Fates. BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle is the crossover fighting game we've all been waiting for, but we just didn't know we wanted. With the cast from BlazBlue, Persona 4 Arena, Under Night In-Birth, RWBY, and a supposed 5th series on the way, Cross Tag Battle is looking mighty fine. The only downside to this game is its controversial DLC policy, but hopefully it all works out in the end, although it probably won't. Still, the game is a ton of fun, even if I keep losing. Although I included a game from 13 years ago on this list, I'm a bit hesitant on including this one, but it's got to be talked about, and that's Holdfast Nations at War. Currently in early access, which is why I was a little bit hesitant, Holdfast in its current state is still enjoyable and a great time. Based in the Napoleonic era, the game has the best line battles the market can offer. But what really makes this game special is the community. See, there's only local chat over the mic, so the only way for you to hear somebody is to be right next to them. This leads to total immersive moments when you're marching with your line, and the commander's giving orders, but he is quickly stopped short when he is shot, leading to all hell breaking loose. The developers have been really active in the community and have been really responsive, so I hope this game is even better on its final release.
Looking for this, I can't find it.
Everybody clap your hands. Marvel's SpiderMan is the big money shot on this list. The hyped, must-own PS4 exclusive that turned out to be actually really good. Exploring Manhattan is a blast, and the swinging physics are some of the best out of all the Spider-Man games. The story is fantastic with a gut punch of an ending that I won't spoil. What brings this game down, unfortunately, are the Mary Jane sections where you just sneak around and the mandatory base assault missions. Thankfully for this game, the combat is nice and fluid, and the attention to detail is just something else. I don't know much about Marvel, but I do know that Marvel Spider-Man is a good game. Normally around this area is where I stick the newest WWE 2K game, but this year surprisingly I didn't pick up 2K19. Instead, I picked up Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. The highlight of the 2K games for me was creating your own shows and fantasy booking, and in this game, that's the whole appeal. You run your very own wrestling promotion and have to take it from a local company running out of bingo halls to the worldwide giant with its own network and top stars. With tons of mods that change the game to modern day or the Attitude Era, or even all the way back into the Territory days, there's always something to do and accomplish. Number 1 is the game that I picked up on random, and it's one I'm glad I did, and that is Monster Hunter World. Now, I never played any of the other Monster Hunter games, so I really can't compare World to the other ones. That being said, World takes great steps to introduce newbies like me into the world of Monster Hunter. Get it? World of Monster Hunter? The story doesn't really matter at all, and all that really matters is the moment-to-moment gameplay when you're taking down huge monsters. Every time you meet a new monster, he kicks your ass until you finally kill him, and then you go on to the next bigger monster. He does the exact same thing. The biggest problem is the grind, but that's why you get your friends on board and you switch up weapons every 100 hours or so. And there's a lot of weapons to choose from. With tons of weapons and armor to craft and bugs to collect and weekly challenges to complete, there's always something to do to keep you busy. Monster Hunter World is my game of the year, and it's a damn good one at that. Well, that's it. Another top 10 and another year in the history books. I hope you had a great year, and you're just hoping that 2019's a little bit better.
Did you know you can actually date her? That's right. Apparently Capcom hid this away as an Easter egg. A Kujin clan. As you see, there's a lot of guys. A lot of big guys. I think if I remember correctly, yes, this guy right here is the Emperor. The game is actually surprisingly good in its attention to detail. Tan lines from your previous bikinis will show up when you switch outfits. The way the characters get wet is interesting. Okay. Okay, there we go. Fucking I think that guy was also floating in his room. As always, guys, I'll see you guys next time. And we can see how we can destroy this monstrous blob.
Looking down on me from your sleigh. All I wanted was my blue-eyed babe, but with the sack and his grin, he winked and they rolled away. Got your cookies, got your milk, got my pit bull chained to the chimney. You stole my woman